Hello and welcome to the Drawhunter. I'm your charming host, Kevin Cleary, and this is the only football gambling podcast where we don't pick any winners. We hunt for the result that pays better than most of those win bets. We hunt for the draw. I've been a sports bettor for a long time. I don't find value in even money bets. I'm sorry. That's just me. Draws pay well and they happen a lot. 30% of all pro matches end in a draw. It's like this every season. And it's worldwide. It's in all the major leagues and international competitions. And that's not random. That's not a fluke. That's a probability. And gambling is all about probabilities. And even if you want to bet on winners, and I do that too, running down the games through this kind of perspective is still a valuable handicapping tool, because betting on sports is about gathering as much useful information as possible so you can make a correct decision. So we look for the hidden value draws here, where the market is pricing outcomes too heavily towards the favorites or volatility. These fixtures combine low scoring averages and balanced possession rates and historical draw frequency and market pricing and maybe a certain situational advantage that combine to give us the contrarian value that we're looking for in a draw bet. These are the games where parity equals a payoff. So let's get right into the picks for this weekend. These games take place May 9th and 10th, 2026. First up on Saturday, Atletico Madrid versus Celta Vigo. This is a game at Civitas Metropolitano, Madrid. Atletico Madrid is the home team here. They're even money. Vigo, or Celta, is plus 250. The draw is plus 260. Atletico has the ball about 53% of the time in their games. Celta is about 50%. Atletico has scored 58 goals this season. They've given up 37. Celta has scored 48 goals this season. They've given up 44. They're both in positive territory. Atletico's a little better on the scoring than Celta, obviously. These two teams have a tight history. The last two games that these two teams played were both draws. They were both 1-1 each. The two games before that were 1-0. They're historically tight, low-margin fixtures with very frequent 1-1 outcomes. Atletico is number 4 in the league on their table, and their 6 draws enter on the league's longest unbeaten run right now, playing very controlled, low-variance football. Celta is number 6 on the table. They have 11 draws this season, and their statistical profile is nearly symmetrical. They've both got a very balanced goals for, goals against, and a high rate of close matches. Neither side is in desperation mode here. Both tend to settle into tactical, low-tempo rhythms. This matchup has the classic 1-1 signature, like their last two games. We've got stable defenses, moderate possession rates, and low volatility. Then we're going to go over to Greece in the Super League in Greece. And I apologize, Greece fans, when I pronounce some of these names. Panserakos versus Kifisia. And this game is being played at Ceres Stadium, and Panserakos is the home team here, and they are plus 210. Kifisia is plus 125. The draw is plus 215. Pan has a 37% possession rate. Kifisia has a 46% possession rate. Pan has scored 23 goals this season. They have given up 63 goals this season. Kifisia has scored 35 goals this season. Guess what? They're underwater too, but not as badly. They've given up 45 goals this season. 2 out of the last 6 games between these two were draws, and the last 2 were 1-goal margins. This is a relegation round match between these two teams. Number 4, Pan has 7 draws this season. Kifisia has 13 draws this season. These two carry a high draw frequency and very nearly identical defensive numbers. Relegation round matches in Greece are notoriously cagey, and this fixture is the purest equilibrium spot on the Greece board this week. Let's go back to La Liga. We've got Real Sociedad playing Real Betis, and this is in San Sebastian. Sociedad's the home team. They are plus 140. Betis is plus 170. The draw is plus 270. Sociedad's possession rate is 51.1%. Betis's is 50.8%. They are separated by 0.3%. Sociedad scored 52 goals this season. Guess what? Betis has scored 52 goals this season. Sociedad has given up 53 goals. Betis has given up 41. 3 out of the last 9 games between these two teams have ended in a draw. Statistically, they're right there. Historically, this is one of La Liga's most draw-heavy pairings with repeated 1-1 outcomes over the last few years. And look at what they've done this season. Sociedad has 10 draws already this season. I say already, we're almost at the end of the season. Betis has 14 draws. That's 24 draws between the two of them. Okay, Sociedad, 10 draws. Again, that's out of 34 games. Betis has 14 draws out of 34 games. Both of these clubs are long-term draw specialists. Sociedad's home matches often settle into very low-tempo, low-scoring patterns, while Betis remain one of Spain's most consistent one-to-one teams. With both sides sitting in the European rates cluster, neither is likely to overextend or take an unnecessary risk. This is a very classic equilibrium fixture with strong statistical symmetry. Now let's go up to Scotland. You know how much I love the Scottish Premiership for a draw when we need one. And we've got Aberdeen versus Dundee United. And this is a home game for Aberdeen. They're plus 125. Dundee United is plus 190. The draw is plus 245. Aberdeen has the ball about 47% of the time. Dundee United has the ball about 42% of the time. Aberdeen has scored 36 goals this season. They've allowed 50. Dundee United has scored 48 goals this season. They've allowed 57. But it's the history here again. These two teams can't get out of each other's way. 3 out of the last 5 games ended in a draw, including their last 2 matches that ended 1-1 and 0-0. These are very typically low-scoring, grind-heavy fixtures. You see a lot of that in Scotland. 35 games played already this season, and Dundee United has 13 draws. Aberdeen has 7. This is a relegation round match, and they are notoriously cagey in Scotland when this happens. And these two sides have very, very similar statistical profiles. Both struggle to score consistently, both concede at very similar rates, and both tend to play tight, low-margin football. This is another classic 1-to-1 grinder. Let's go back over to La Liga again. We're spending a lot of time in Spain on Saturday. We've got Sevilla versus Espanyol, and this is a home game for Sevilla, who are plus 110. They're the favorite. Espanyol is plus 260. The draw is plus 235. Sevilla has the ball about 50% of the time. Espanyol has the ball about 42% of the time. But I got to say, that extra possession rates for Seville doesn't seem to help them out too much. They've scored 41 goals this season while allowing 55. 41 goals scored, 55 allowed. Espanyol, guess what? They're almost the same. 37 goals scored this season, 51 games allowed. 51 goals allowed. Oh, poor guys. Head-to-head history here tells the tale. 3 out of the last 8 games were draw. Their last game ended 2-1, but the one before that was 1-1. And we've got a bunch of repeated 1-1 and 0-0 results over the last few years. Sevilla is number 17 on the table, and they have 7 draws this season. Espanyol is number 13, and they have 9 draws this season. Sevilla's got a transitional season that has produced a very inconsistent attacking output compared to what they did last year. Espanyol remains one of the league's most conservative away sides when they're on the road. This matchup historically leans towards stalemates, and both teams' goals for and goals allowed profiles support a very low-scoring equilibrium here. So you've got all that baggage, and both of these teams are within 3 points of relegation with 4 games to play, including this one. So they both need at least a point here. And those are the Saturday games. Let's move on to Sunday. And we'll start off in the Premier League up in the UK, where we've got Crystal Palace playing Everton at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace is the home team here. They're plus 165. Everton is plus 160 on the road. That's a pick 'em. Draw, plus 235. Palace has the ball about 46% of the time. Everton has the ball about 43% of the time. Palace has scored 36 goals this season. They've given up 42. Everton has scored 44 goals this season, and they've conceded 44 goals this season. 2 out of the last 6 were draws between these two, very statistically, a little bit better than the statistical average, but the recent meetings between these two teams are very tight and low scoring with multiple 0-0, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1 type results. Everton is number 10 on the table. They've got 9 draws this season. Palace is number 15 with 10 draws this season. So what do we have? We have 2 compact, risk-averse sides, both more comfortable in structure than in chaos. Palace at home tend to grind, while Everton away are actually one of the league's most draw-prone, under-leaning profiles. The head-to-head history is full of narrow margins and stalemates, and neither side has the attacking punch to reliably blow the other away. This has got some classic 0-0 or 1-1 big goal energy here. Let's go down to Italy and Serie A. We've got Fiorentina versus Genoa. And this game is in Florence. It's a home game for Fiorentina. They are plus 110. Genoa is plus 250. The draw is plus 245. Ball possession rates, Fiorentina's at 51%. Genoa's at 48%. Fiorentina, here, look at these numbers on the goals scored and goals allowed. Fiorentina scored 38 goals this season. They've allowed 49. Genoa has scored 40 goals this season. They've allowed 48. Both of these are underwater, and they're almost identical numbers there. Their last game was a draw. 2 of the last 4 games between these two teams were draws. Their recent clashes are often very tight, several 1-1 and narrow 1-goal results. Fiorentina is number 16 on the table with 13 draws this season. They've got a possession-heavy style that runs into a Genoa side that is built to absorb and frustrate. The Genoa is number 14 on the table, and they've got 10 draws this season. They're literally one of the most draw-friendly profiles in Italy. Low tempo, compact, and happy with the point away, as most teams should be. Fiorentina's tendency to dominate territory without always converting into clear chances creates the perfect environment for a 1-1 or 0-0 game between these two teams this weekend. Let's go over to France. In Ligue 1, we've got Auxerre versus Nice, and this is a home game for Auxerre. They are plus 140 as the home team. Nice is plus 185 as the away team. The draw is plus 245. Ball possession rates are very close here. Auxerre has the ball about 44% of the time. Nice is at 46%. Auxerre has scored 30 goals this season. They've allowed 43. Nice has scored 36 goals this season. They've allowed 58. 1 of the last 2 was a draw. 4 out of the last 6 were draws between these two teams. There were 3 1-1 games and a 0-0. That's a lot of draws. I'm sorry. Nice are number 13 on the table. They've got 12 draws already this year. Okay, come on. Last place, Auxerre. They've got 13 draws. Okay. Nice are historically one of Ligue 1's draw kings. They've got a slow tempo, a strong defense, and a conservative approach away from home. Auxerre has a limited attacking ceiling and preference for compact games that dovetails perfectly with Nice's tactics. This is a textbook Nice away draw spot where there will be long spells of sterile possession, few big chances at scoring, and a very high probability of a 0-0 or 1-1 game. Lastly, it wouldn't be a Drawhunter weekend if we didn't swing by the Bundesliga in Germany and visit one of our favorite teams over there. Mainz 05 versus FC Union Berlin. And this is a home team for Mainz. They're at the Mua Arena. They are allegedly, Mainz is minus 165 as the home favorite here. I don't understand that number, but these are the bookies. This is Vegas. It's their funeral. Union Berlin is plus 260. The draw is plus 300. Ball possession rates, well, these are not teams that are in control of the game most of the time. Mainz has the ball about 43%, Berlin 39. Mainz has scored 41 goals this season. They've allowed 50. Union has scored 37 goals this season. They've allowed 57. So you've got two teams that are major league underwater here. And guess what? 3 out of the last 4 games these two teams played were draws. Last game was 2-2. The game before that there was a winner, 2-1, and then there were 2 1-1 games. You know, both of these teams are built for attrition rather than fireworks. Mainz is number 10 on their table, and they've got 10 draws this season. Union is number 13 on the table, and they've got 9 draws this season. But Mainz at home are solid, but they're very rarely dominant. Union are one of the Bundesliga's most draw-prone sides when they get their defensive structure right, especially on the road. With both attacks limited and both coaches comfortable with a point here, this fixture has one of the cleanest 1-to-1 profiles on our list this weekend. So there you go. 9 matches across Europe over 2 days that I think will end in a draw this weekend. Now, let's talk betting parlays and accumulator bets, because we've got this week's Lucy, our house weekly parlay wager, and it has 4 matches in it. We've got Mainz 05 versus Union Berlin. That one's at plus 280. I think it came down from the 300 when I first wrote those notes yesterday. We've got Auxerre versus Nice at plus 245. We've got Aberdeen versus Dundee United up in Scotland at plus 245. And then we've got Atletico Madrid versus Celta Vigo at plus 260. A $1 bet on that 4-leg parlay returns $161.83, according to the betting app in front of me right now. So that's it for this episode of the Drawhunter. I am still your charming host, Kevin Cleary. New episodes drop twice a week, Mondays for all the midweek action, Thursdays for the weekend slate like today. Once again, please subscribe to our show. You can do it at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. While you're doing that, while you're subscribing, give us a like. Give us a 5-star rating. Give us a great review. If you have any questions or comments, email us at drawhunterpodcast@gmail.com. From the entire Drawhunter team, thank you for listening, and remember, there's no stopping it. Draws happen. Gambling involves risk. Please gamble responsibly. This show is for informational and entertainment purposes only. No guarantees are made regarding results or financial gain. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. You must be of legal age to participate in gambling activities. Check your local laws and regulations before placing any bets. This podcast was made by humans. Accept no substitutes.